One country's GDP is skyrocketing at an unbelievable 26.6%, while others are barely keeping up. Can you guess which nations are racing to the top of the global economy? In this video titled 10 Fastest Growing Economies in the World, you'll discover jaw-dropping growth statistics and fascinating economic insights that will make you rethink everything you know about emerging markets. You won't believe who's leading with inflation, international trade, and business growth reshaping economies at breakneck speed. Some countries are rewriting the rules of global development. These nations, backed by impressive GDP growth rates and population booms, are defying odds to rise as economic powerhouses. According to projections from the International Monetary Fund, IMF, and other economic analyses, as of November 2024, these countries are leading the charge toward unprecedented global growth. But which country is far ahead of the rest? Could it be an emerging market, a developing country, or an underdog climbing the ranks? Stick around as we explore the world's fastest growing economies right now, packed with insights into GDP, economic development, and global trends. Make sure to watch to the end, you won't want to miss this. Let's dive in. Number 10. Philippines. Coming in at number 10, the Philippines is making waves with an anticipated GDP growth rate of around 6.0%, according to Statistics Times. This Southeast Asian nation has positioned itself as a rising star thanks to its robust domestic consumption and an ever-expanding services sector. But what exactly is fueling this growth? Let's break it down. The Philippines' population of over 115 million, according to the latest estimates, is both its biggest challenge and greatest asset. With a young and dynamic workforce, this demographic advantage is propelling industries like IT and business process outsourcing, BPO, to new heights. In fact, the Philippines is one of the world's top BPO hubs, contributing billions to its economy annually. On the flip side, inflation remains a tricky hurdle. Rising prices have created pressure on consumers, but surprisingly, domestic consumption continues to thrive. The Filipino spirit of resilience seems to include a penchant for spending, with retail and services riding this wave. International trade and remittances from overseas Filipino workers also play crucial roles in economic development. Remittances alone accounted for nearly 10% of the country's GDP last year, acting as a steady buffer against global economic uncertainties. Economic forecasts paint a positive picture, with business growth expected to surge in sectors like real estate and tourism. The latter, in particular, has rebounded as travelers flock to explore the Philippines' stunning islands and vibrant culture. So, what makes this growth even more remarkable? It's happening despite global headwinds. As we delve into the 10 fastest growing economies in the world, it's clear the Philippines is more than just a tropical paradise. It's a lesson in economic resilience and opportunity. Now, who said a thriving economy can't have a sunny side? Number 9. Bangladesh. Bangladesh grabs the 9th spot with a projected growth rate of approximately 6.0%, as noted by Statistics Times. But don't let this modest figure fool you. Bangladesh has quietly become an economic powerhouse, sewing its success story one stitch at a time, literally. Home to over 170 million people, Bangladesh boasts a population density that's among the highest in the world. While that sounds like a logistical nightmare, it's also the secret behind its thriving manufacturing sector. This densely populated nation is a global leader in textiles and garments, ranking second only to China in apparel exports. Yes, those affordable shirts and jeans you love might just have a "Made in Bangladesh" tag. The manufacturing sector contributes more than 13% to the country's GDP, with the garment industry employing around 4 million workers. This industry alone accounts for 80% of the country's exports, making international trade the lifeblood of its economic development. However, the road isn't entirely smooth. Inflation has been a nagging issue, hitting over 7% earlier this year. Yet despite rising costs, economic forecasts remain optimistic, predicting sustained growth fueled by business expansion in agriculture, pharmaceuticals, and ICT. Bangladesh's demographic dividend, where a significant portion of the population is of working age, has been key to its success. Combine that with government incentives and foreign investments, and you've got a recipe for robust business growth. As we count down the 10 fastest growing economies in the world, Bangladesh proves that a small country with big ambitions can make waves globally. So, whether it's threading the needle in textiles or navigating inflation, Bangladesh is stitching together a future as bright as its vibrant garments. Who knew economic growth could look so fashionable? Number 8. Libya. Libya claims the 8th spot on the list with a projected growth rate exceeding 7%, according to Wikipedia. And no, this isn't just a lucky break. Libya is leveraging its greatest natural asset, oil. After years of economic and political turbulence, the country's recovery in oil production and exports is powering this impressive resurgence. Let's talk numbers. Libya holds Africa's largest proven oil reserves, an asset that has historically made it a key player in international trade. Oil accounts for over 60% of its GDP and nearly all of its exports, making it the backbone of the country's economic development. In 2024, increased stability in production is predicted to drive both business growth and government revenue, which is sorely needed to rebuild critical infrastructure. But it's not all smooth sailing. Inflation has been a persistent challenge, with volatile oil prices and political instability affecting purchasing power. However, economic forecasts remain optimistic as foreign investments trickle in and efforts to diversify the economy gain traction. Demographically, Libya's population of about 7 million is relatively small, but its strategic location near Europe gives it a unique advantage in international trade. With renewed oil agreements and infrastructure upgrades on the horizon, Libya is positioning itself as a regional powerhouse. Libya is a story of resilience and resourcefulness. It's proof that even after years of setbacks, a country can bounce back with the right mix of resources, strategy, and a little bit of luck. And let's be honest, when you've got oil as your lifeline, your economy's recovery is more than just fuel for thought. Number 7. Rwanda. Rwanda lands at the 7th spot with an impressive projected growth rate exceeding 7%, according to Wikipedia. This small, landlocked country in East Africa is proving that size doesn't determine success, strategy and vision do. Rwanda population, estimated at around 13 million, is a youthful and rapidly growing demographic force driving both domestic consumption and labor market expansion. This vibrant human capital is one of the key reasons behind the country's surging economic development. Investments in technology, infrastructure, and services have made Rwanda a standout in Africa, earning it the nickname, the Singapore of Africa. Here's the game changer: technology. Rwanda has made headlines for its ambitious digital initiatives, including the rollout of 4G across the country and the deployment of drones for medical supply delivery. Talk about futuristic business growth. Infrastructure projects such as the Kigali Innovation City are further cementing Rwanda's status as a hub for international trade and investment. Despite its achievements, Rwanda hasn't escaped the global issue of inflation, which has hovered around 8%. Yet economic forecasts remain highly optimistic. The government's Vision 2050 plan aims to transform Rwanda into a high-income nation, focusing on sectors like tourism, which contributes over $400 million annually to the GDP. Rwanda stands out as a testament to how strategic investments in services and innovation can reshape a nation's future. And let's be real, any country deploying drones for good isn't just flying under the radar, it's soaring to new economic heights. Number 6. Niger. Niger takes the 6th spot with a projected growth rate exceeding 7%, according to Wikipedia. While this West African nation might not make headlines every day, its economy is digging deep, literally, and rising fast, thanks to mining and agriculture. Let's start with mining, the backbone of Niger's economic development. The country holds some of the world's largest uranium deposits, powering global nuclear energy production. Recent investments in the mining sector have bolstered exports, placing Niger firmly on the map in international trade. And if that wasn't enough, the gold sector is starting to glitter with potential, attracting foreign investors and fueling business growth. Agriculture, employing over 80% of Niger's population of roughly 27 million, is also undergoing a quiet revolution. Improved irrigation methods and the adoption of modern farming techniques have significantly increased crop yields, making agriculture not just a way of life, but a driver of GDP growth. Of course, it's not all smooth sailing. Inflation, often spurred by rising food prices, has been a persistent challenge, adding to the cost of living. Yet economic forecasts remain bullish, pointing to continued expansion in key sectors and a rising standard of living. With one of the world's youngest populations, nearly 50% of its citizens are under 15, Niger's demography is a ticking economic time bomb. If harnessed correctly through education and job creation, this youthful energy could propel the nation to even greater heights. Niger's story is one of resilience, resourcefulness, and a bit of grit. Who knew uranium and agriculture could pair so well to drive growth? Maybe they should trademark it. Niger, where mining meets dining. Number 5. Senegal. Senegal earns the 5th spot on the list with a projected growth rate surpassing 7%, according to Wikipedia. This West African nation is proving that a mix of strategic investments and natural resources can ignite powerful economic development. Let's explore what's fueling Senegal's economic ascent. First, the energy sector is lighting up the country, literally. Major oil and gas projects, such as the Grand Tortue Amium offshore gas field, are positioning Senegal as a key player in international trade. With production expected to ramp up significantly, energy exports are set to inject billions into the GDP, making it a cornerstone of business growth. But it's not just energy, Senegal's infrastructure is undergoing a massive transformation. Projects like the Dakar Regional Express train and new port developments are connecting markets and attracting foreign investors. This focus on infrastructure is unlocking new opportunities, boosting economic forecasts for years to come. Senegal's population of over 17 million, with a young median age of just 19, is another asset. This youthful demographic is fueling domestic consumption while offering a steady supply of labor for industries like agriculture and services. Inflation remains a challenge, hovering around 9%, driven by global economic pressures. Yet, government policies aimed at stabilizing prices and promoting exports are helping mitigate these effects, keeping growth on track. Senegal's story is one of resilience and ambition. From energy to infrastructure, it's laying the groundwork for a booming future. And honestly, with this kind of momentum, Senegal might soon become known not just for its vibrant culture but also for its dynamic economy. Who says growth can't come with a bit of flair? Number 4. Vietnam. Vietnam secures the 4th spot with a projected GDP growth rate of 6.06%, according to Statistics Times. This Southeast Asian tiger is roaring its way to economic prominence, powered by strong exports, booming manufacturing, and a steady flow of foreign direct investment, FDI. Vietnam has become a global manufacturing hub, producing everything from smartphones to apparel, with global giants like Samsung and Nike setting up shop. The country is riding a wave of international trade. In fact, exports contribute over 90% of its GDP, making Vietnam one of the most trade-dependent nations in the world. Talk about putting all your chips on the export table and winning big. Foreign direct investment is another star player. Vietnam attracted nearly $28 billion in FDI in 2023, with much of it funneled into the manufacturing sector. This influx has created jobs, boosted business growth, and helped solidify Vietnam's position as a key player in global supply chains. But Vietnam isn't just about assembly lines. Its population of nearly 100 million, with a median age of 32, is a vibrant and growing market for domestic consumption. Demographically, it's poised for continued economic development with a young workforce ready to take on new challenges. Inflation has been kept in check, hovering around 3%, thanks to sound fiscal policies and a strong focus on stability. Meanwhile, economic forecasts remain bright, with sectors like technology and renewable energy promising to drive future growth. Vietnam's story is one of grit, strategy, and adaptability. It's proof that a small nation with big ambitions can rewrite the rules of economic success. And honestly, with this kind of momentum, Vietnam's rise feels less like an economic forecast and more like destiny. Number 3. India. India claims the third spot with a solid forecasted GDP growth rate of 7.0%, according to Reuters. As the fastest growing large economy, India is showing the world that its momentum is unstoppable, fueled by booming domestic demand and advancements in manufacturing and services. With a population of over 1.4 billion, yes, that's nearly 1/5 of the global population, India's demographic advantage is unmatched. A young and dynamic workforce is driving innovation and boosting economic development. The median age is just 29 years, making it a nation bursting with energy and potential. India's manufacturing sector is hitting its stride, with the government's Make in India initiative attracting significant foreign direct investment. From electronics to automobiles, manufacturing contributes nearly 17% to the GDP, while the services sector, think IT and software exports, accounts for over 50%, making it a powerhouse for international trade. Inflation? Sure, it's there, hovering around 6%. But India's strong fiscal policies are keeping it in check. Meanwhile, economic forecasts remain optimistic, with sectors like renewable energy and infrastructure promising even greater business growth. And let's not forget domestic demand. Whether it's smartphones, cars, or Bollywood blockbusters, Indians love to consume. This robust internal market adds a layer of resilience to an economy already firing on all cylinders. India stands out as a testament to scale and ambition. With its unmatched blend of technology, talent, and tenacity, India is proving it's not just growing, it's thriving. Who knew 1.4 billion people could move this fast and still have time for cricket? Number 2. Macau. Macau SAR takes the second spot with a jaw-dropping projected growth rate of 13.9%, according to FDI Intelligence. This dazzling economic rebound isn't just about luck. It's the result of a strategic blend of gaming dominance and diversification into non-gaming sectors. Let's start with the showstopper, gaming. Often dubbed the Las Vegas of Asia, Macau's gaming industry is bouncing back in a big way after pandemic-induced slumps. Tourists are returning, and casinos are lighting up the economy once again. Gaming revenues contribute a whopping 50% to Macau's GDP and generate nearly 70% of government revenue. Talk about hitting the jackpot. But Macau isn't putting all its chips on the table. Increased private investment in non-gaming sectors like real estate and finance is reshaping its economic landscape. These efforts aim to attract a broader range of international trade and business growth, ensuring long-term stability. With a population of just over 680,000, Macau might seem small, but its high population density supports a bustling urban economy. The city's focus on infrastructure upgrades and tourism development is driving economic development and creating jobs. Inflation? It's relatively tame, sitting under 3%, thanks to prudent fiscal management. Economic forecasts remain optimistic, with Macau positioning itself as more than just a casino hotspot. It's now a hub for luxury retail, cultural tourism, and global conferences. Macau proves that a smart mix of entertainment and innovation can turn the odds in your favor. Who knew rolling the dice on diversification could pay off this well? Macau's economy isn't just rebounding, it's doubling down on success. Number 1. Guyana. At the top of the list is Guyana, the undeniable leader, with a staggering projected GDP growth rate of 26.6%, according to Visual Capitalist. Yes, you read that right, 26.6%. This small South American nation is making big waves, and the secret sauce? Black gold, oil, is fueling an economic boom that's rewriting Guyana's future. Here's the story. With the discovery of massive offshore oil reserves, Guyana has gone from being one of the region's poorest countries to an economic superstar in just a few years. Oil production, which began in 2019, is now the primary driver of GDP growth, contributing billions to the economy and transforming the country into a hotspot for international trade and investment. But Guyana isn't stopping at oil. Efforts to diversify its economy are also gaining traction, with business growth in agriculture, mining, and infrastructure projects. These initiatives are creating jobs and supporting economic development, ensuring the boom doesn't become a bubble. With a population of around 800,000, Guyana's demographics present a unique challenge: how to distribute this newfound wealth equitably. Inflation, meanwhile, remains a concern, as rapid growth often brings price hikes. Yet, economic forecasts remain bullish, with analysts predicting sustained prosperity if resources are managed wisely. Guyana's meteoric rise stands out as a case study in how natural resources can transform a nation. It's not every day you see a country go from underdog to MVP in the global economy. Guyana isn't just growing, it's soaring. Who knew oil could turn a small nation into a giant on the world stage? Now that's what you call striking it rich. And there you have it, the 10 fastest growing economies in the world, each with its own unique story of resilience, innovation, and ambition. From energy booms to manufacturing marvels, these nations are shaping the future of global economic development. Which country surprised you the most? Let me know in the comments below. If you enjoyed this journey through the world's fastest growing economies, don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe to explore with me for more insights into global trends, travel, and economic updates. Share this video with someone who loves learning about the world's shifting economic powerhouses. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next video, because there's always more to explore.